Hi, in this session we are going to learn about how do you solve the errors in variables. So if you have some errors or if you have been doing some syntactical mistakes, so how do you identify them in JavaScript? So I'll just have a walkthrough on variables topic. So previous topic also you should be better referring before you go to this topic. So let's go to desktop in JavaScript. I have a folder called lesson 1 variables. In that we have variables. So what I'll do is, further not wasting the time, I'm going to quickly copy this file as it is and paste it, and I'm going to refer this as error. So I'm going to name this as error. Okay, so when I double click on this, it will open the browser screen. So right now we have done all these topics in our previous session of the class, or how do you solve the issues. So for this, before I go with that, let's go and edit the coding. So I'm right now here. Edit this file. This is my previous concept. I've explained each and every point. Now you might be confused a little bit, like where is mandatory or not mandatory. So let's go and try to understand this. I'm going to declare a variable where b is equal to something like 70. Okay, so document.write original value of b is equal to plus b, and this is going to print a bold and a break. So I'm going to go and add this here as a bold. Now let's go and run it. So when I execute, I've got original value of b is equal to 70. Okay, now let's do this one more time. Let's say where name is equal to Tony. Okay, so we have Tony. Now when I go with document.write, and I'm going to execute this as my full name. Full name is plus name plus going with a bold and a break. So when I go and run this bold, this is going to print my full name is Tony. So that's working fine. Now is where mandatory or not? We have to understand is where mandatory or not. So if suppose I'm going to go and remove it, it's working. So if you write also, it will work. So what exactly is the purpose of where? Is where declaring variable is must or not? For this I will be giving you a clear idea here. So let's go and handle this with b with where or without where also printing 70. Now what I'll do is I'm going to comment this, and this will show me an error like 70 is not been initiated. So for this what I'll do is where is used for initializing the variable. So what is happening here is you have initialized the variable where, but this will not print. It's not printing, and it is saying where is though created, it's not defined yet. So later point of time you may assign it and it will work. So you might initialize it as a reserved variables and later you might use it. Let's say for the same topic, I'm going to say name is equal to name plus Richard. So when I run this, it's going to print Tony Richard. The reason is previous name is something called name is equal to Tony. Here it will come Tony plus space Richard. So this is Tony space Richard, assigning back to the variable. Now here I might use where or don't write is also working. But next thing is where mandatory or not? So if I write here also it is working. Now let's go for something like name plus is equal to m. So if you don't understand what is this method is, it's a short notation of this way. Name is equal to name plus m. But the problem here is you cannot see, guys, this is again logically what it is doing is it is taking the previous name, which is previous name is assigned as Tony Richard space with extra space m. So this is going to work like this. Okay, but you're now doing some logical concat here with some logical way. Here you cannot use where. Okay, so this is where you have to understand when you do with variables a logical work or kind of this method, you are not supposed to add where. So this is what you should understand about the where. Now next is the lines of code is executing from top to bottom. Now I'm going to add some errors. For example, I'm going to put down here, this is single quote. Okay, so if you start double, you better close double. That will work. It's working. But if you use double and use single, it will not work. So it's getting errors. So how do you quickly solve is, you can click F12, and this F12 is saying string literally contains an unescaped line break. So you have to click this here, and out of all the lines it is blocking line number 16. So we need to solve it. So it is blocking line number 16. So we need to go and check. So this is line number 16. So as I said you the rules, double start, double close. Okay, so this is double close. So what I'll do is, let's go and run it. So it's working now. So what I will do is, I'll add a couple of errors here. So I want you to pause this video because I'm going to add the errors and I want to solve you. In that way you will have a good practice. Okay, so right now I've already added some errors, and I just copied this page and pasted it here, and you can see the title solve errors. So I want you to quickly go and open this file. I've given this link for you to download. You can just go and check and get this page in front of you, and when I double click, so this is showing nothing. So I want you to solve it and rectify the errors. So let's go and fix it. So by the time I'm going to fix it, I want you to just go and practice it, like where are the errors, what is the error. So please make a pause here and just try to check how do you get out of this solutions. So the first error I've added is, let's go for here, we have this as single and single. So before you do this work, I want you to pause this video and you debug the errors from your side so that it will be practice for you. So anyhow, you're playing this video without pausing, you might be revealing the errors, where are the errors and all those things. So I want you to pause this video and solve your errors by yourself. But if you can't do that, just play it and I will show you the errors. So first error, this is double started and this is single. So you have to solve this with double. So let's go and run it. It's still not working. You have to fix some more errors. So next, the concat plus is there and you didn't add it concat here. So just plus it. So it's not yet solved. So you need to check them. So I've got like underscore B, but here I'm calling this with 2 underscore, which is wrong. You have only created 1 underscore. So just go and remove this. Next step, we have something called line number. This is something a little bit tricky. If you see here, this is A and see the number 1. If I write 1, it is kind of this way. Okay, but here I'm not calling that. This is something we have a little bit sensitivity issue. So we are calling L, which is wrong. You have to call number 1. So it's not yet solved. You have to solve some more errors. So just go and check where exactly is more errors. So next thing is, if you check this wisely, you have this as document.write. I said you document.write, but this all are I. See carefully, this is I, this is I. But I wrote a little bit mistake like L, you have to keep it I. Okay, so this is yet to be solved, some more errors. So what we'll do is, we'll just go and check some more errors. So here, let's go and check, this is capital C and you're calling lower C, which is wrong. So you better call it capital C. Yet to be solved, some more errors. So what you do is, go and check something like, okay, here if you see here, this is double. Watch very carefully. When I keep my mouse moving here, it's not getting inside. See here, this is single. I'm getting inside here, but this is not getting inside, means this is purely double. But when I see here, you think that it is double. No, this is like single inside single, which is very wrong. I said double open, double close, not like single. So this time I'm adding double. You can see here, this is where you solve the errors. So in this way, you might have some errors. You have to cross verify everything as it bug fixing. So this is all about how do you solve the errors, and I'll see you on the next video. Until then, bye.